trainer. This is Life After 50, a Pokemon Go podcast. I am your host, Josh Flores, and welcome. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Okay, guys. Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 4, Unova Tour Recap. In this episode, we're not getting into any event details, really. It's really just about the Unova recap. So without further ado, let's get into our story. First, let me tell you that I took off for both days, Saturday and Sunday, to participate in this event. And all day, all week, during the road to Unova, I had to watch everyone get their shinies, their hundos, their hatted Pikachus, which was cool, but I really wanted to participate. And that I did. And it all started a Friday. New Tony sent me some pictures of the shiny hat Pikachu, and I was really happy for him, but I was so bummed for me because I'm like, I can't get any of these. I'm at work, and I was trying to use the Go Plus, but getting Pikachu just on its own is already hard, and Go Plus rarely ever gets a shiny Pikachu. Like, it happens, but it's very rare. And like I said, I just wanted to get them out of the way. I just wanted to get anything that I could get out of the way before the actual Unova Tour. That's kind of what my goal was for the road to Unova, but I wasn't really able to do that because I was scheduled for work pretty much every single day. So I vowed when I got home I would prepare my butt off because I wanted to get everything and anything out of this weekend, like the most I can get. But when I got home, almost none of that happened. You see, I started putting everything on chargers when I got a raid invite from Australia, and then it hit me. Wait, hold on. If I can get the hundos now, all I have to do for the Unova Tour is focus on shinies and shinies and shinies. And that's it. And that's all I wanted to do. So I started a cycle of remoting and trying to prepare for Unova Tour. And right before I passed out from pure exhaustion and like wanted to call it quits, I got it. I got the hundo. Put it on screen. Bam! Hundo Curum Black. Well, I chose black, but the Hundo Curum, that's kind of the thing here. But yeah, I was so excited, and I was like, look, I have to go to sleep. It's already midnight, past midnight, and I'm like, we'll work on this later. You know, like we'll just work on this later. The next day I pick up Tony. We take the subway to New York City. We're in the city eating breakfast, doing some raids before the event, you know, putting our star pieces down, our spatial rend, all that good stuff. And as we're doing it, I hear like some guy like cursing, but cursing one word and then moving the word closer to us until the guy finally got to Tony and I and then uttered his word. But Tony and I were so like wrapped up in the game that we didn't even care. We didn't really even notice until the guy walked up to a totally innocent family and just started cursing at the guy and his children. And then for no reason at all, when the guy took his child into his arms and turned around, the guy just spat at the back of the guy's head. Yeah, straight up. What a loser. New York is a wonderful place to play the game. There's so much to do in the game, but the realistic part of New York can get a little bit abrasive from time to time. Other than that, Tony and I had a blast for the most part. We were raiding and catching shinies. And the weather was great, which was another bonus because Sunday was absolutely terribly cold for me. But Saturday, Tony and I were able to make the best out of the weather because it was so amazing. The weather had us going pretty much the entire time, but later on at night, it started to get really, really cold, and I could tell that Tony just wanted to go home. But the biggest goal for me from the Unova Tour was shiny Sigalith and 2 Hundo Curum so I can use for the Master League. I got the 1 Curum, and the Sigalith was kind of locked to eggs and the Enigma research, so I was just letting that rock. But the thing that I knew I could control more or less was the raiding. So that's what I really focus on, was trying to raid for that second hundo. But unfortunately, I didn't get the hundo that day. Nope. Tony got it though. No. There you go. And he got it with the background, which is pretty awesome. And again, I was happy for him, but I was bummed for me because I'm like, I want that hundo, that second hundo. Look, Tony already had 2 hundos, so this is his 3rd hundo. All I wanted was 2. I know it sounds like greedy of me, but still, I worked very hard to get the 1, and I felt like if I worked equally as hard, maybe even harder, I'll get the 2nd. But instead that day, Tony got the 1 that I needed, which is funny because I got a 98 in the raid that he got a hundo, and Tony believes that every raid that somebody gets a 98, somebody else will get the hundo, and I don't think that's true, but to him it is true, and when we're together it's true. So it might not be true like for everyone else, but for us it's true, because the first time that happened, I got a hundo Zapdos and he got a 98 Zapdos. Zapdos is his favorite Pokemon, which was funny because we reminded each other of that day, and I was like, it would be crazy if I could trade you, or if he can trade me the hundo Kyurem for the hundos, if I could trade him my hundo Zapdos, because I would definitely do that to get the 2nd hundo Kyurem, even though I only have 1 hundo Zapdos. Like, that's how important this 2nd hundo Kyurem was to me. But Tony is not like a PvP type person, and it was cold and we walked a lot, many miles, kilometers, whatever you want to use. And we were very, very tired. But the thing was, I had to tell him, I was like, look, I took off these 2 days to participate in this event. I've been participating since Friday, and I know the event says that it is going to be over at 6 p.m., but past 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, the raids were still going. Not only that, but you can still hatch event eggs. And I told him, look, I'm sorry, but as long as the raids are active, I have to be out here, because I cannot say I tried everything I could in order to get all the shinies I wanted or hundos or whatnot, but not actually put in that time or actually put in that work. So I decided, because I was in arguably one of the top 3 cities in the world to play Pokemon Go, top 5, I guess, if you want to, throw your city in there, but literally one of the top 5 cities to play in the entire world. And I'm going to go home early because it's cold and my legs are a little tired? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is not happening. Not with me, not the way that I like to play. I wanted to get what I wanted to get the way I wanted to get it. And yes, was it expensive? Absolutely. But some people buy new shirts and shoes and have an obsession with whatever. Really, I really only spend my money on the game and like food and to survive. So working all the overtime covered this event, and that was totally fine. But I did feel bad because he's my friend and I don't want him to suffer. But I did tell him if he wanted to go home, then he was more than welcome to go home. But me personally, like, I could not leave until I either passed out, got what I wanted, or just some tragedy. Like, honestly, like, I was there, I was in it to win it, period. He was frustrated, but Tony, he stepped up and he stuck it out. So seriously, like, thank you, dude. Like, thank you. Really, stop it. Nope. You rocked with me all the way till the end of the event and beyond. We were struggling to walk to the platform of the train. We struggled to get on the train. We were struggling to sit and then get off of the train and then walk up the stairs. But at the end, we actually formed a stronger bond because we went through the fire together, and we actually came out swinging, because after Tony wanted to go home and he did what he needed to do. Well, not did what he needed to do. After Tony wanted to go home and he decided not to, that's when he got the hundo, actually. And I believe that was a reward from the universe or wherever, saying, thank you for indulging Josh and his craziness, because I know I can get a little obsessive from time to time, and so can Tony. But that particular day, Tony was looking at me like I was a whole different person. But then Tony turned into that person, so we're good. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to put the hundos that I got for the event on screen. So there you go, hundos. Not that many. I don't really remember. I'm doing this off of memory. And now we can put the shinies. Poof. Shinies. Shiny. If you are watching on YouTube, then you can see all the things that I got. If you are not watching on YouTube, then I will tell you what I got. For Hundos, I got Kyurem, Pikachu, Deerling, Maractus, Dunsparce. Both Deerling are different, and both Pikachus with the hat are different. For shinies, I got all the Deerlings, all their evolutions, a Clink, a Tynamo, Bouffalant, Vullaby, Zekrom, Kyurem, most of the Pikachus, except the Pikachu with the white hat, but I did get the Pikachu with the white visor, an Unknown, Oshawott, Pansear, both Basculins, Sandile, Scraggy, Vanillite, and I believe that is it. Now, Sunday, day 2, is where it gets kind of embarrassing for me. So this is what happened. All right, we're going to have to throw on a beat for this. Just because I just need a little mood music behind what I'm about to tell you. So, in New York City, you can do this thing called tap and go. I mean, you can do it anywhere, but in New York City, it works the best since everything is so densely packed, like the Pokestops and everything, especially the gyms. When the gyms have like a raid hour or anything like this with the Kyurem every half an hour, you can jump into the raid and then walk to another raid. By the time you walk to that other raid, your raid will already been completed, and if you don't have to re-lobby, you can stay in the raid and just walk to the next one, and you will not be kicked out, because not only do the raids in New York City fill up quickly, but then they are taken down at an even quicker rate. So by the time you get to the catch screen, that's when the game is like, oh, you're still near, because what actually takes the most amount of time is the catching of the legendary. The actual defeating of the legendary or the lobby and stuff, especially if you ready up, that is actually really fast. And like I said, in New York, it fills up to 20, and then the timer goes down from 10. And then defeating the Pokemon is super easy, especially these Pokemon. They're a little glassy, and I would just have my Go Plus running, and that's it. Oh, and by the way, on Sunday, Tony didn't end up going with me because he is this the button? Nope. Yeah. We're gonna laugh at Tony because he's like, man, my legs hurt, everything hurts, like I can't I can't do this tomorrow, so you're on your own. And I was like, look, I totally get it. It was colder that day, the cell reception, it was windier. It was just, for anyone to play that day, you would have to be out of your mind, or you took the day off of work and you were like, nothing's gonna stop me. So I'm just by myself grinding in the city and doing that tap and go. When I was with Tony, I wasn't doing tap and go because I wanted to get shinies and stuff like that, but because I got most of the shinies that I wanted on Saturday, minus that Sigalith, I was like, I have to try for this second Kyurem Hundo. Like, I really have to try for this second Kyurem Hundo. And I was really trying. Like, trust me, I had my Go Plus running at full force. I was raiding my butt off. Like, raiding in person, remote. When I wasn't remoting, I was in personing, and if I wasn't, and vice versa. It was just insane the entire time. Like, this one kid came up to me and he's just like, oh, like I got this Shundo Reshiram or Kyurem or something, and I was like, oh, that's great, man, like that's cool, like my friend got that also, like, and he looked at me like I was like some sort of jerk, but I'm like looking at him like, why are you trying to flex on me, my guy? Like, I'm just telling you, like, my friend got that too. Like, not to say like the guy wasn't like all that special, but like, yes, you're not that special, and if you're gonna come up to me and flex, like, I thought we were participating in this flex session. So I pulled out my my Hundo Black Kyurem, and I was like, yo, check this out, I got this yesterday. It even has the background, and I fused it with the opposite background, so it gets that cool little weird background. And he looked at me, he backed away, he was like, oh, my bad. And I don't understand why every one of these tours, Go Fest, and whatever of the like, someone always tries to come up me trying to jock me on my steez. Like, don't jock me on my collection. My collection might not not be like, crazy JT Valor Trainer Club type of collection. Trainer Club got the Hundo, Shundo, Shadow Mewtwo and stuff like that. But I got a nice little decent thing going on my own. Anyway, it got to a point where, and this is the embarrassing part, where I looked at the candy that I had for my Kyurem and I was like, I have over 1,000 candy, 1,000 XL candy and candy. Like, I'm not getting the Hundo, and I am no longer. No, man. I'm not getting the Hundo, and I am no longer going to catch them. I am just going to raid, and if the CP does not say 2553 or 2042, then I am out of there. And that's what I kept doing, and that's the embarrassing part, because I'm telling you, 40, 50 raids, I absolutely did not catch the Kyurem. And I'm telling you, the event was over to the part where I was catching Kyurem, and the lucky trinket, whatever research thing, wasn't even telling me that I ranked up, because I passed the 500 mark on Saturday. I was so committed to getting that second Hundo Kyurem that at a certain point, I just kind of forgot about the entire event and was just going to raid upon raid and raiding, and my legs were on fire, my glutes were on fire, everything from my waist down, my muscles were all on fire, and I was hungry, but I couldn't stop because I had that mission. You don't go to the promised land on a mission. All you need is faith. And those are real facts. And I forgot that. And that's why I paid what I paid for what I actually got. Now, I'm going home and all the raids are done. I hatched all my eggs, like everything. The event is still kind of going on, but like everything is done. I am in front of the train station. And at this point, I am creeping on people, just like, what are you rating? Like, I need Kyurem. And we got it. We got the Hundo, the second Hundo. Put that on screen. Poof. Yeah, we got it. I don't know where I did the raid from. I don't know if it's like Korea or something like that, but you can see where it was from the screen thing. But wherever I got it from, thank you so much to my other friends on my friends list for being as crazy as I am and raiding as much as you do, because all of a sudden I just looked, and the last raid that I swear my brain was like, that's it. We've spent enough money. We spent enough time. You cannot keep your eyes open. You cannot stand. Dude, go home. And again, the universe, God, whomever just said, look, here you go. Like, just get out of here. And I saw it 2042 and I was like, I just started dancing. I just started dancing in the middle of New York City, and no one looked, because I mean, you did, like, someone just got spat on like earlier, so that dancing in New York City isn't really like too like crazy. But I was so excited, and it was funny because OG Tony texted me. He's like, "Oh, did you get the Hundo yet?" And I texted him like, "No." And right after I said no, that's when I saw the CP and it said 2042, and I texted him right back and I was like, dude, I just got it. And Tony's always Tony, so he's like, oh, I knew you'd get it. And yeah, and that's what it was. Tony had the faith. I didn't have the faith, and I think that's probably why I got it so late, and I got it when I messaged Tony, because that event was meant for my friends and I, or my friend and I, and my friend didn't go, but just keeping him, with me in a certain way, I think it helped me get the Hundo, because last time new Tony helped me get the Hundo Terrakion. So I mean, if there are any other Tonys you want to be my friend, I kind of need them, because for this game it seems like I kind of need Tonys like to help me out. Okay, whatever. All right, so what were my thoughts on Pokemon Go Tour, Unova, Global, whatever? Okay. All right. My thoughts. Was the tour pass worth it? Yes. Was the deluxe worth it? No, because the deluxe had the first 10 levels accomplished for you. And if you're a person like me that just kind of goes overboard, you don't need them accomplished ahead of time. You will definitely overachieve. If you're the more casual type of person, then yes, getting the deluxe would have been a better choice, but I kind of wasted money on that. The lucky trinket was a good idea, but as Milo said on his YouTube, Milo Pogo UK has a YouTube channel, and he has the Incense podcast. Shout out to them. And he said the lucky trinket, the IV floor should be 13, 13, 13. And then the item and the whole thing would make more sense or be more enticing, because I used it. Like, I had a lucky trade. It came out like, okay, but it wasn't anything crazy. The Meloetta research was also okay. It's you couldn't really make a dent in it, but it was time gated at a certain point anyway, so whatever. The eggs, for me, they're always a bad time. Usually, I did get the Boufflant. I did not get the Sigilith, unfortunately, which means that I'm gonna have to go to Egypt, and I don't want to go to Egypt. I will, but like, if there's like Go Fest, Gaza, like, but anyway, yeah, some people had some luck. I had some good hatches. I only had the Boufflant, really. There were no other shinies other than the Boufflant. I got a second Boufflant, but I'm gonna trade that to my friend who does not have access to a Boufflant, and that's pretty much it as far as eggs go. You get the Stardust, you get a little XP. I think, they're okay, but I didn't get the Sigilith, so I'm gonna whine about it. The featured Pokemon: Spawn Rate, Rotating Habitats, and Zorua Spotlight, minute 2 minutes. So with the featured Pokemon, there aren't too many Unova Pokemon to pick from anyway. But I do understand people talking about like the spawn rate or the size. There were only like 3 Pokemon here, 2 Pokemon here, 1 Pokemon. It's like, okay, but I know the pool is small, but you can duplicate them and put them in. You know what I mean? The rotating habitats, very cool, especially because the researches rotate and the raids rotate every half an hour. So that was actually like really, really cool that you didn't have to, like, you knew that it was going to be every half an hour, and then you can time it. And the Zoro Spotlight minute, it's a nice touch, similar to what they did with the Unknown, because Zoro was that generation's Pokemon. Again, little lackluster on the featured Pokemon. Pawniard, Mienfoo, and Sandile should have been featured in a way that was easier to get. They could have put them on the Incense, because Unknown are great, but they're not Gen 5 Pokemon. They're Gen 2 Pokemon. So if they would have, if they could put Gen 2 Pokemon, Gen 1 Pokemon being the had a Pikachu on the Incense, then they should have put Pawniard, Mienfoo, and Sandile, similar to how they did for like New York City Go Fest way back when. Yeah, and like I said, the Zoro Spotlight, okay. Yeah, but I didn't get a single shiny. I'm not saying it wasn't great because I didn't get a single shiny. I really don't care about Zoro anymore. I got mine when that crazy Zoro thing was live. But real quick, they've done all this stuff around Zoro, but what about Kecleon? Kecleon, they came out, whatever, but Kecleon hasn't had an actual day where like increased chance to get shiny Kecleon. Like, that's kind of what I want. They've been pushing Zoro for a long time, and I don't care for Zoro anymore. Research, I enjoyed the research. They were plentiful. I didn't like that I had to spend a lot of Stardust in order to complete the tasks. Catching the Stardust boosted Pokemon was good because it helped me offset the Stardust that I spent on the tasks. But if I didn't have to spend that kind of Stardust, instead catch, if there were tasks associated with gains instead of losses, then it would make more sense. Then I'm wasting time trying to catch Autognome, Fungus, and the like, the Stardust boosted Pokemon, to make up for the Stardust that I lost. I don't like that. But I understand that you can do level 1 Pokemon and this or that or the other, and there are tricks to it, but no tricks. This is a tour. Don't make me spend any more. We spent all we can spend, our time, our money, our efforts getting to the place that we got to. Stop making us spend our resources. Like, let that moment, let that event be a moment of strictly gains, like no losses, for real. The Enigma tasks were a nice addition to the event, and I like that they had such an array of Pokemon. You can get, good stuff. Like I said, that Sigalith. I did end up getting a shiny Scraggy from the Enigma research, so that was cool. I was in New York City, and it was hard to get Enigma researches in New York City, which is very densely populated with Pokestops. So if you didn't have access to a lot of Enigma tasks, don't feel bad. And if you did, feel better. I guess you're better than me. The bonuses, 6 special trades, very straightforward and standard. I don't really have to comment on that. I do wish that for these events, not only with the special trades, whatever, but instead of like the lucky trinket, just say that like the rate at which you can become lucky or whatever is increased or something like that. Like that would be cool. Half hatch distance plus the drift from New York City plus the hatch distance, whatever, cut from the event bonuses. Yeah, can't really complain. Everything was hatching, extra nice, wasn't really cutting me off. And I love that, you can just tap and the eggs just kind of pop up, so you can go faster. The remote raid limit was a double-edged sword because I got what I wanted, but at the cost of my future baby's bank account. Like, my future baby has to go to public school their whole life because I can't afford tuition at all ever to get those 2 Kyurem. Worth it? Yeah, definitely. I felt bad spending all that money and running from those Kyurem because at the end they are candy and potential backgrounds and this and that or the other. I didn't run from the shinies, but I did run from the non-shinies. So I did really feel really bad about that. Party play and routes, I didn't do too much. I didn't do party play at all because I didn't need any of those Pokemon shiny. And for the routes, once I figured out that the Basculin could be obtained through the tasks by just, getting rid of Pokemon, which is something that I was going to do anyway, and I got them through the tasks, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing raids anymore. Routes, especially in New York, you got so many spoofers that the routes look good, but then at a certain point, they wiggle into some weird ways. So overall, yeah, I had fun. I think there was a lot to do. I feel like if you're in a rural area, then there isn't. I feel like also you kind of needed one other person, especially if you want to do any of the party play stuff. The spawn pool felt thin. Look, I get it that a lot of people aren't happy with, I guess, the turnout. I spent 13 hours. Hold on. I spent 13 hours and then 13 hours again on Sunday grinding. Yes. Yeah, 13 hours. And so 26 hours. So in 2 days, I spent pretty much a day, over 24 hours playing Pokemon Go. And I got what I got. And people are like, wow, you got so many cool things. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand what I did in order to get it. So if you didn't get certain things, realize that in order to get even what I got, you had to spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. And honestly, the only reason why I do it is because I love this game. Like, I love this game. And this is like my biggest, like, I guess, guilty pleasure or like, whatever it is. But I love this game. And I had such a cool time, Tony and I just broing out and stuff, and then on Sunday kind of doing the lone wolf. It was great. It was the best of both worlds, one day to hang out with my friend and a mentor, and then the other day to see what I got, to see like how can I do when I don't have the friend cheering me on and me cheering the friend on, like, because it was even colder on Sunday. People were even worse on Sunday because everyone was partying on Saturday, so on Sunday their emotions are a little twisted, and I really can't complain. You kind of get what you put in, and not always. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less, But this time I think I got exactly what I wanted and needed. And I think what you need is to get out of here right now and go to my next episode where I actually dive into all the upcoming Pokemon Go events. So until next time, remember, trainer, you don't have to be the very best. You already are. Okay, love you. Bye.